Welcome to the WFN review of our feature match of the week involving the Perrin Cup second round. In one of the most anticipated games of the round, Division One's Inkhead.com matched up against Division One's Melchester WINGs in what was expected to be a thrilling encounter. Both teams are neck and neck in the league program and played to a draw in a recent league encounter, with WINGs holding a 1-point advantage over Inkhead in the competition. Now these two teams look to face off in the Premier Cup competition in the region. While Inkhead won their first round match of the tournament, WINGs had a bye through the first round by virtue of being last season's league champions. The early going was as expected, with both teams looking to gain an advantage in the middle of the park to get control of the match. Though largely even, it was Inkhead that was first beginning to show ascendancy in the challenges for possession. Inkhead moved with purpose toward the WINGs end of the field, but WINGs, with one of the strongest defenses in the league, was up to the pressure early on. Chances for both sides were rare in the first half, but they did come. Here, a half chance from Inkhead from a corner, again dealt with and cleared by the WINGs keeper. Next, a good WINGs move ends with a shot from long range that was easily dealt with by Will Alexander in the Inkhead goal. As the half wore on, WINGs began to show some initiative by getting forward, but Inkhead's defense is strong and organized as well, and dealt with the threats comfortably. Late in the first half, WINGs began to push for the breakthrough, here from a corner, but like their own defense, Inkhead seemed equal to the challenge. Both teams are skillful on the ball and push forward, but with two of the strongest backlines in the league, chances on goal were rare. Play continued like this going into the half as they went into the break scoreless. The second half saw an increased urgency by both teams as the rain became heavier. Here, a rare golden opportunity for Inkhead goes begging when an open net is missed after the attacker beat the WINGs keeper. But the breakthrough would come shortly after the halftime break for Inkhead after good pressure forward. They push for a shot on goal toward the top of the penalty area, and a WINGs defender is adjudged to have fouled an Inkhead player, giving Inkhead a scoring chance from a set piece within striking distance. Todd Gispert duly stepped up and got the ball past the wall and keeper into the back of the net, and just like that, Inkhead had a valuable goal early in the second half. Next, a twist in the plot for a tight game was provided by the weather. The floodgates of rain opened up and the conditions would change drastically for the play on the wet pitch. The downpour was such that the WFN crew had to scramble and find cover, mainly for the sake of the equipment, with still the desire to cover the action. Many of the fans had to either run for cover themselves or wrap up against the elements as best they could. But before we could even settle to begin shooting again, WINGs had won a penalty at the other end of the pitch, which they converted successfully to even the game at a goal apiece midway through the second half. The rain that was bad turned into a torrent as play continued. WFN found it difficult to capture much of the action that actually intensified as both teams searched and probed for another goal to try to end the match in regulation time. But as was the case in the first half, both of the teams are well organized throughout the park, and chances on goal remained difficult to come by. It was certain that if either team could get a goal, that would be the decider, which turned the match into a tense affair in the last 10 minutes of the match of regulation time. Both teams would come close on occasion, but ultimately there would be no further scoring, and the match would need to end on penalties to decide the team to advance to the last 8. As tense as the last minutes of the game were, the penalty kicks proved a nervy matter as well. Inkhead jumped to an early advantage with early misses from WINGs attempts. I'm sure the weather conditions did not help the matter at all for either side, but some well taken shots were converted. Though Wings got behind early in the exchanges, Inkhead followed with their own misses, and the spot kick sparring continued in the driving range into the sudden death phase later on. Sit back and enjoy the drama of a penalty shootout to decide who advances in the Perrin Cup and who will go home.
Miss. Critical. Perfect. Lost. Six. Still 3-3 minutes all the way. Just crept in. No idea.
And with that final shot, Inkhead defeat Melchester Wings to advance to the final 8 and a real chance of some silverware for the first time in the club's history here in this Perrin Cup competition. The league now goes on a winter break but will return after the first week in January. WFM will be back to cover more ADSL action after the break.